I saw this news clip on News One this morning regarding Nate Parker and Birth of a Nation, and I have an opinion on that. Nate Parker was found innocent of rape, okay? But for whatever reason, when a black man is accused of rape, especially when a white woman's involved, no matter what the verdict is, he is going to wear that stigma for the rest of his life. Now, it's damn near impossible for a black man that's accused of rape to be found not guilty. Damn near impossible. Hell, it's damn near impossible for a black man accused of rape, period, to be found not guilty unless there's overwhelming evidence. Now, case in point, and a lot of you may not agree with me, but when Mike Tyson got accused of rape by that Miss USA or Miss America, that black chick, last name was Washington, I believe. Everybody, let me back up, most people, especially in the black community, said that he didn't do it. Most of us thought that the woman came to his hotel room 10 o'clock at night to get some. Because why would you come to a man's hotel room that you really didn't know, okay, at 10 o'clock at night without some thought of something going on? Now, again, if your purpose for seeing this guy was legit, why meet him in his hotel room? Why not meet him downstairs in a bar, a restaurant, etc., etc., etc.? No, what we thought happened was she went up there, she did what she did with Mike, and then because Mike didn't want to take her home, she got pissed off and hollered rape. In my opinion, I think the same thing happened here. When Nate Parker was dealing with this white woman, and she agreed to a 2-on-1 with him and his partner, and then another woman walked in and saw it going down, she went into protect my dignity mode, protect my image mode, and started hollering rape. That has happened so many times in history where there really wasn't a rape, but a woman hollered rape, and especially a white woman dealing with a black guy, and somebody walks in on them, and all of a sudden it's a rape. No, I'm not going for it. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. But all that being said, it was 17 years ago, and lo and behold, surprise, 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 a black man is found innocent of rape. But when it's a black man, innocent doesn't mean innocent. Now, you're going to have these two women on this particular clip, and in my opinion, they want to fry this man. They want to fry this man. Innocence doesn't mean jack shit to them. Now, all of a sudden, he has to become the face of no means no. No, hell no. Hell no. The movie should stand on its own. They should screen it the way that they want to screen it, and the hell with everybody else. You don't hear them hollering about Roman Polansky, who admitted raping a 13-year-old girl, and he's gone on. You don't hear them talking about him. You don't hear them talking about Woody Allen, basically having sex with his daughter It was his adopted daughter, but his daughter. She was underage, and she came out and told it. But nobody's over here trying to fricassee him. Okay, you got Mark Singer of Star Trek fame. He's a goddamn pedophile. You don't hear them jumping up and down about him, and we just had a Star Trek movie that just came out recently. Where was all the outrage and the picketing and everything else on that Star Trek movie? Nah, that's because this is a black man that has made a movie that is exposing to the light of day the condition of slavery and how Nate Turner revolted, and it shows the power that black people have when they want to utilize it. And that is why Nate Parker's under attack, and hell, the movie's under attack because you get a whole bunch of these dumbass black celebrities like Snoop Dogg, his dumbass, that don't want to see no more slave movies. He's tired. Nah, that's bullshit. See, and that's our problem. We need to get on board. These women need to get off of this. Every man that gets accused of rape is guilty, which is exactly, what they're basically saying. They're trying to sugarcoat it. No, Nate Parker does not have to be the face of no means no. That's bullshit. He's innocent, so there was no, so there's no need for him to come out there and be an advocate of no means no. All right, anyway, I'm going to play this clip, and then you can see what I'm talking about.
Nate Parker's account of the greatest slave revolt in American history, The Birth of a Nation, the story of Nat Turner, had Oscar written all over it. Folks have been saying since January that it was going to be the leading movie. All of that right now is in jeopardy as a result of all of the attention surrounding Nate Parker being accused of and found not guilty of raping a woman while a student at Penn State 17 years ago. Now the latest, the American Film Institute has canceled Friday's screening for of the movie. Also, what Fox Searchlight has done, the company that actually bought the movie, they have also canceled the screening of the movie and Q&As at all of the upcoming festivals. Now, the movie is scheduled to come out on October 7th. And in talking with folks with Fox Searchlight, they say they simply want the movie to stand on its own as opposed to all the attention being focused on Nate Parker and this case from 17 years ago. The dean at AFI released this statement, quote, "I have been the recipient of many different passionate points of view about the screening, and I believe it is essential that we discuss these issues together. Messenger and message, gender, race, and more before we see the film. Next week, we'll be scheduling a special moderated discussion so we may explore these issues together as artists and audience." Now, Parker, of course, directed, co-wrote, produced, and stars in the movie. And as I said, it has gotten tremendous amounts of buzz. It blew up at the Sundance Film Festival, where it set the record at Sundance for being the highest amount of movie was ever purchased, again, for $17.5 million. Let's talk about this right now with several different folks. Joining us via Skype from Washington, D.C., April Rain, managing editor of BroadwayBlack.com in studio. David Swertlick, assistant editor for The Washington Post. Yolanda Young, attorney and columnist for Lawyers of Color. Eugene Craig III, the vice chairman of the Maryland Republican Party. And we also hope to be joined by Gil Robertson, who is the head of the African American Movie Critics Association. April, when you see all of this particular attention, and obviously Fox Searchlight is in a position in terms of how do you market the film. It's built around Nate Parker driving this story. He spent 2 years raising the money to get this movie made. It has been a passion story of his that he wanted to focus on for more than 10 years. And so are you afraid that the movie itself and the important story is going to get lost and totally obliterated as a result of the attention on this rape case from 17 years ago?
There's definitely that potential. And so Nate Parker for Fox Searchlight and his people need to manage the situation much better than they have been. Every time Nate Parker speaks, whether it's on his Facebook post or subsequent interviews since the initial interview came out on in Variety, he has expressed remorse for not having enough support from the Black community, remorse that these allegations have resurfaced, although they've always been there. It's not as if this has been under seal. But he hasn't expressed remorse for what actually happened and for the victim in a way that I believe that he should have.
See, that's bullshit, because if he didn't do nothing wrong and the victim was lying and got caught in a situation that she didn't want publicized, what the hell is he supposed to be expressing remorse for the victim? The victim wasn't a victim. She made herself a victim when she went out there and lied about the goddamn rape. So, no, I'm not expressing remorse for that. You know, Nate Parker was found innocent by a whole bunch of white people. He was found innocent of raping a white woman. That does not happen, okay? That does not happen. Nate Parker was not a man of substance. He was not a movie star or a director or anything else back then. He was a college student. So, what she's saying is bullshit.
It's a very important moment for Nate. He needs to be talking about affirmative and continuous consent. He doesn't need to necessarily...
That's bullshit. That's exactly what he doesn't need to be talking about. He doesn't need to be talking about this, period. There was consent. So if me and let's say I wasn't married and a woman, and I'm dealing with her, and she says, yeah, I want to get it on, I want to get it on, I want to get it on. And we get it on, and then the next day, she has second thoughts and then wants to holler rape, okay? But smart me, you know, I recorded the shit where she was saying she wanted to get it on, so I got the proof. Now, am I supposed to go back out there and be an advocate for affirmative responses? Fuck no. I get found innocent. I'm walking away from it. The broad got caught. She needs to move on, okay? And that's the end of that story.
Claim liability, but he needs to say, I should not have been in that situation. Don't let yourself get in that situation. Let's talk about consent. Let's talk about what you can do to prevent it.
So you're saying that if a woman wants to do a 2-on-1 and you're for it, you should say no, because exactly what? And if a woman wants to do 2 women and 1 guy, the woman should say no because of what? No, that's bullshit. What happens behind closed doors between consenting adults should stay behind closed doors between consenting adults. So for what this broad is saying is you should never be in that position to be behind a closed door with 1 or more consenting adults doing whatever you're doing. She's not making any goddamn sense.
But if he does that, I mean, first and foremost, he was indicted. That was a trial. He was found not guilty. If he goes there, that leaves the impression that Nate Parker is guilty, even though he was found not guilty.
Exactly.
Not necessarily, no. But what we...
Bullshit. The perception is if he starts doing a mea culpa, that people are going to say, why is he doing a mea culpa? He must have done something wrong. This broad is full of shit.
Is that he was in a bad situation. I practiced law for 20 years. There are ways to have this discussion in a very intelligent way.
I damn sure wouldn't want her as my attorney if she's going to tell me to break myself down after I've been found innocent. No, what you do then is you toot your horn that I was always innocent. The legal system has done its job, and I'm just happy that it did do its job, and you move on. This lady, she is being 100% totally disingenuous.
But regardless of what he believes, regardless of what happened, everyone should be talking about consent. I mean, the initial thought was that Birth of a Nation was going to be screened on college campuses across the nation. If I were consulting with Nate Parker, I would tell him that he needs to do those and make the issue of affirmative and continuous consent part of the discussion. He has 5 daughters. Every person should be talking about consent. Why not Nate Parker, regardless of what his past was?
This lady got a history. I'm willing to bet you she got a history, and the other woman that's on Roland's panel, I think she definitely got a history. All right, because normally, and I've spoken to a lot of women that have actually had this issue where a rape did occur, and they pretty much never get over it. I take that back. They can get past it. They'd never forget it, but they can get past it. Okay, this lady to me seems like she's had a situation, and with Nate Parker coming up, it's basically reblossoming for her, and now she's projecting.
So the question is, I saw an expert, saw a woman tell the rap. And she said that they should be talking about slavery and the issue of rape on college campuses. But in that article, she said that the issue of rape on college campuses should be discussed before slavery. I talked to a lot of African Americans who said, wait a minute, if you do that, now all of a sudden you are actually making what slavery and what Nat Turner did secondary to this particular issue. Your thoughts?
I think that we can do both. And let's not forget, there were a lot of black women and men, enslaved people who were raped as well.
Well, actually, in fact, anybody, I've seen the film, and that is actually portrayed in the film and actually dealt with as well.
Exactly right. So why can't we have a multi-dimensional discussion? But just to try and sweep this under the rug once again, the way it was at the Great Debaters when that film came out for Nate Parker, this needs to be addressed head on, or it's going to continue to remain the main story.
See, I don't understand what they're talking about swept under the rug. This entire situation went through the legal process, okay? The man was found not guilty. It was visible. It's still visible. So when you say sweeping it under the rug, basically what you want to do is you want to basically lynch this guy for something that he was found not guilty of. Sweep it under the rug. No, it's not sweeping under the rug. He was found not guilty. Sweeping it under the rug is if something went down and he did not have to go through the legal process. That would be sweeping it under the rug. He faced his accuser. He had a jury. They found him not guilty. That is not sweeping it under the rug. See, something happened to this woman. I am telling you, something happened to this woman.
I want to go to you, David Swartlick. That was a piece that was in the Washington Post, written by Kathy Young. And Kathy Young, the headline on that particular piece says, and shut up, go to my iPad, please. The headline is, "Stop calling Nate Parker a rapist. In our current cultural climate, there's no way for a man to shake the charge of rape even after he's found innocent."
Exactly. This should have never been brought back up. Other than, if they were going to bring it up, this should have got like 10 seconds of light and should have gone away. No, but they're making a big deal about it in order to go after this guy, and then in turn to go after the movie to knock the movie down. That's exactly what this is. And black folks, if you let them get away with this, you deserve whatever you get as far as lack of respect, by et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Your thoughts on this particular piece?
Okay, so full disclosure, that piece ran in the section in which I'm an editor. I did not work on the piece. Kathy Young is someone who writes for us a lot, Roland, and Kathy Young is someone who talks about about issues around rape and issues around accusations of rape and issues around consent that April was talking about a moment ago, and she has expressed this point of view in a number of cases. I think it's important to note always that Nate Parker was acquitted, as you noted a minute ago, was acquitted of the understanding of ideas of consent now than we did as a society 17 years ago.
Yolanda, in this article, Shelley, go back to my iPad. Here's what she says. For many, it seems an accusation of rape now equals guilt, not only before there is a conviction, but even after a not guilty verdict. This may look just to those for whom believe the survivors is an article of faith, but such, quote, justice will inevitably shatter lives and may hurt victim advocacy by lending credence to fears that rape accusations are a danger to the innocent. Your assessment?
Not guilty does not mean innocent.
Oh, here we go. See, something went down with her as well, okay? Not guilty means innocent. Period.
Of 1,000 rape cases, out of 1,000, only 344 will be reported. After those, 63 will lead to an arrest, only 13 will be prosecuted, 7 of those will lead to a felony conviction, and only 6 will serve time in prison.
Okay, so now you see where she's going. She's saying that the majority of rapists basically get away with it. She's not even going to consider that Nate Parker was innocent of the rape. She's throwing him in with the group that don't get convicted or face any type of ramifications. Not willing to consider that there was no rape. And that's her problem.
You have to remember that someone who participated in the same activities as Nate Turner did,
Nate Parker.
Nate Parker did, he did in fact receive prison time. That conviction was eventually overturned. But the point is, Nate is not...
And what was the basis of that conviction being overturned?
That there was hearsay evidence.
Okay.
That there was hearsay evidence. So my point is, listen, we love Nate Parker. We appreciate what he has done with his career. But the fact is, he's not the worst thing he's ever done, but he can't run away from this.
Well, first of all, I mean, he's given. First of all, he has given several interviews. He did talk. It wasn't just Variety; it was also the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay, and run away from this. Why would he run away from being found not guilty? See, like I said, something went. You know, she's an attorney, and something went down with her, and she's projecting as well. Okay.
A lot of people came hit me and they said, well, why is it coming up now? It did come up during the Great Debaters. Not to this extent, but also keep in mind, this movie has gotten far more coverage than the Great Debaters did. Andrew, and then I want to go talk about Harry Belafonte in this film. Go ahead.
Well, as a person I actually attended Penn State University, I actually lived in Center County, Pennsylvania. It is no easy feat for a black man to get any type of acquittal in Center County.
Bingo! He's going to tell it. A black man getting acquitted of anything in that particular county was damn near impossible. And now you throw in a black man accused of raping a white woman? Come on.
And for Nate Parker to get acquitted of a rape charge in Center County, Pennsylvania speaks volumes. You know, do I think there's a time and place for this discussion actually take place? Absolutely. But do I think that the arguments around rape and what's going on college campuses right now should overshadow the birth of a nation? Absolutely not. You know, this gentleman, you know, was acquitted. You know, he was acquitted.
April,
it shouldn't overshadow it, but at the same time, if Nate Parker is the creator of and the star of the movie, these things have just become, in the court of public opinion, inextricably linked. I think that the movie is an important document about the history of this country and about the rebellion against slavery, but it's hard at this point for a lot of folks to separate.
Yeah, but funny thing, it's not hard for a lot of folks to separate Mark Singer from Star Trek and Woody Allen from all the movies he's made, and from Roman Polansky, and he got a goddamn Academy Award. It wasn't hard for them to separate them from their acts, but now all of a sudden it's like damn near impossible to separate Nate Parker and his quote-unquote act, which he was found not guilty of, from this particular movie. Nah, there's a goddamn double standard.
From the different standard than we're holding other producers and directors. I mean,
exactly.
The that produced the last X-Men film had, allegations, and it wasn't a big issue. I mean, we've had other, huge name, white producers and directors.
Well, for a while, I was Roman Polansky. Actually, of course, he pled guilty to rape of an underage woman and fled. And his movie a couple years ago won an Oscar. I got to ask you this, right, April. Harry Belafonte was interviewed by the Associated Press. Shelley, again, go to my iPad, please. And Harry Belafonte weighs in on Nate Parker and his new film. In the piece, Belafonte questioned the timing of the issue being raised, and he also said that, now he did say in the piece, quote, "I don't even know what the facts are, I don't know what the truth is." He said, "I am going to also look into it." He said, but quote, "It's interesting because it's coming out the same time the film's coming out. Of all the stories you can tell, why are you telling this story?" And if he was somebody who had committed a crime and got away with it, but he faced the justice system. The fact that the system may have screwed up, the fact that it didn't really take care of justice, the fact that he should have been punished or whatever, is history. The fact is that he was confronted and then he did go through the process. Why are you bringing this up now? What has he done that requires this kind of animus? Your thoughts, and I'm at the panel as well.
It's not that he's done anything to bring this up except what was accused 17 years ago.
But he was found not guilty.
So, as you said, there is no big controversy here. Nate Parker was not about to buy NBC, right? That's the way we go these days.
Okay, for those of you who missed that one, that's a Bill Cosby reference. And we all know that he's being fricasseed because he didn't rape any of those women either. And now he's got to face the legal system when he damn sure should not have. So anyway, that's just an aside. Bill Cosby's innocent. Them bitches are all lying. I made several videos about it. I'm going to leave that piece of it right there.
That's not what this is. But as you said, this is the biggest moment of Nate Parker's life. And so journalists doing what journalists do are going to go dig into the origin story of the person who wrote, directed, produced, and starred in this film. And again, this information was not under seal. It was readily available. So it's coming out now, and it needs to be addressed. I think Mr. Belafonte...
It's been addressed. He was found not guilty.
Comments are unfortunate.
No, Harry Belafonte's comments are not unfortunate. Harry Belafonte's comments are realistic, and he's defending the man. You guys just don't want to let this go, okay? And I don't understand why. You got a bug up your ass about rape, okay? So something apparently happened to you, okay, or somebody that you know. And now, even though this man has been found not guilty of rape, you can't let it go. You can't let it go. So, I'm sorry for you. Harry Belafonte is right. You guys are trying to assassinate one of our own. I got no love for you.
And again, let's remember, Jean Celestine was in the same room committing apparently the same acts that Nate Parker was. Nate Parker was acquitted in part because he had had consensual relations with the victim earlier. So if he had not, there is an argument that perhaps he would have been convicted also. Because
and again, just for the person in our audience.
See, now she wants to make a fallacious argument. The woman decided that she was going to go along with a 2-on-1. That's the bottom line. And outside body walked in on them, okay? The woman was embarrassed. Nate Parker, he wasn't feeling any problem because the woman that walked in on him, he asked her if she wanted to join him in a 2-on-2, and she declined. If there was anything funny going on at the time, the woman that was being raped would have started screaming at that point.
Celestine was convicted. His case was, as Yolanda said, was overturned based upon hearsay evidence. They were going to seek a retrial, but two things happened. One, the victim did not want to testify. Two, the prosecution said they also had a difficulty in finding the witnesses in the first trial. Finish, go ahead with your point.
But Roland, and Celestine is the co-writer on the movie.
Right. No, I got you. But what I'm saying is, no. My whole point is, I'm giving that because other folks have said, well, Celestine was convicted, but they didn't add that, well, it was actually also overturned. That was going to be a second trial. And the reason being, hold on one second. I want to read this here, and I want y'all to respond to it. And quote, this is from Harry Belafonte. And as this, he said, how do I put it in a perspective that helps me with greater clarity understand why this is the consequence of something he's done by getting this high profile, because this film is touching a lot of consciousness. Why isn't that the story? And is this going to be the price that young black women and men pay for making films of substance? Are they going to dig in and get dirt instead of fruit? What are we doing here? And where is the voice that defends him if he, in fact, is worthy of defending?
Exactly. And Harry hit it on the head. Anytime a black person, male or female, does anything of substance, they're going to be attacked. Okay? Unless they buck dancing or doing something that the white people really support, like those stupid ass broads, the Diamond and Silk, okay? And they're not really doing anything other than supporting Trump. This man made this film, and this is probably going to be a film of the ages. I haven't seen it yet, and I damn sure I'm going out to see it when it gets released in the theaters. And they are going after him, okay? So, black people, you talk about being under attack. It's time to step up to the plate and defend one of our own.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead.
Well, we're the voice that defends him.
Go ahead, Eugene, sorry.
Well, we're the voice that defends him. I would press every journalist that's pursuing this story to actually go in and dig and look at how many cases of black men that's been convicted in Center County that a state's attorney in that district has gone on to either re-prosecute or to just not decided to touch. I mean, it's that what has happened with Nate Parker is such an anomaly. You know, that's why I think it's kind of a miscarriage of justice that we're discussing him in this light.
Exactly.
I do think there is a time for discussion around rape and consent. This is not it. But I also think that, if a lot of these cancellations are going to take place and Fox Searchlight is going to cancel a lot of these screenings, then he needs to go to every single HBCU in this country and hold a screening.
Well, but the Fox Searchlight canceling some of the availability of the director at these screenings, I think, has more to do with them trying to salvage the movie, right? Whether or not,
at this point for them, it's a business.
It's a business decision.
I
think it's important to say this as the only woman on this panel, that if this was
she missed that one.
She's a woman too. I mean, you about to April, like, what the hell?
See, that's when you know that they are emotionally engaged. When she said she was the only woman on the panel with this other woman right there, she was getting ready to go lose it again.
You trying to say?
If this was a Republican, if this was an issue regarding racism, and
okay, now she's going to rationalize this where no, this is a false equivalency that she's going to try to point out. But anyway, let her go.
Defenders of Trump or other racial issues were up here, and we were talking about, say, a police officer who hadn't been convicted of a crime, and then that police officer had gone on to do something else, and they had been acquitted of killing an unarmed black person, and we were hearing the kind of defenses that we're hearing now. This isn't the time for this discussion. It's always the time for this type of discussion. The woman who was a victim of this crime, who, by the way, committed suicide years later.
April, I got to ask you this here, and that is here. 4 Penn State students who were there when this took place. Lakeisha Wolf, Asada Richards, Lori Daniel Favors, and Brian Favors, they released a statement where they said they expressed sympathy for the woman, but also were adamant about Parker being innocent. They said, quote, "Well, I want you to comment on this. This is the last comment before I gotta go to break. We're both dismayed and disappointed at the gross and blatant misinformation campaign regarding the events that took place during that time period. We feel compelled to speak truth to the situation as the media has cherry-picked the most salacious elements while ignoring the actual record. They say, again, there were students there, they said, quote, "We believe some 17 years ago that Gene Celestine and Nate Parker were innocent of rape, and we believe that now." Just again, your thoughts, and then I'll be the final comment about 30 seconds.
Now watch this, okay? And Roland's going to have to correct her, but she's basically going to attack the people that made that statement.
Well, good for them, but they weren't there, and they weren't in the room, and so all we have are the court documents, which are what I have read. We have the witness testimony, which I have read. We have the communication between the victim and Nate Parker after the event happened, and so that is what I'm relying, in my opinion, on with respect to this. And I don't think it really matters what they say if they weren't in the room. They're going to be supporters and they're going to be detractors, and so you have to land on the facts.
Okay, let me stop it right there. This woman just said Nate Parker's guilty. Okay, based on all the research she's done, she's saying he's guilty. It don't matter that the jury found him not guilty. She's saying Nate Parker's guilty. She's also saying the people that believe he's innocent, that their opinion don't count, but hers does.
I say this, April, because someone could say what you say doesn't matter, or what Yolanda says doesn't matter, or David, or Eugene, or me, because we weren't in the room. And so all this is simply individuals who are students there, who are a part of that whole situation who they're on the ground. So I do think their opinion does matter, because if we say ours matter, theirs matter, because they were closer to this than actually any of us were.
Right, but let's also look at what happened after the fact, right?
Okay, so now that she got caught on that one, now she's got to take another tact.
This was not a walk of shame that this woman did and decided, that she wanted to place charges. She attempted to commit suicide a couple of times. She was allegedly harassed and bullied. Her life went into a tailspin after this event. So I'm not saying that necessarily proves anything, but even remember, she never sued Nate Parker, right? She sued Penn State for failing to protect her. And even in that point,
that was $17,500 settlement.
Exactly. Okay. And all she was asking is for money because she could not go to class. She wasn't asking for an inordinate amount of money. So all of those things say to me that we should give her perhaps the benefit of the doubt.
All right. Well, again, in case you've heard the benefit of the doubt, Parker the benefit of the doubt, but as David said, this is not in the public, not in the courtroom. Civil or criminal is really in the court of public opinion. April, thanks a lot. We appreciate it, folks.
All right. So guess what? I don't even have to give Nate the benefit of the doubt. He was found not guilty. So these women have an axe to grind. Why? I don't know. I've stated what I think their axe is, and they are going to try to convict Nate Parker in the court of public opinion. I think it's up to us, basically, to find him not guilty in the court of public opinion. We damn sure need to go out and see that movie, because that movie is bigger than Nate Parker. That movie is part of Black history, and I haven't seen it yet. I just hope it's an accurate representation. Apparently Roland Martin has seen it. He hasn't said anything against the movie, so I'm going to assume that it's the real deal, but I'm going to find out for myself October the 7th.